It's a jungle 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, once the Viego's health regen was lowered, he became pretty much a primary jungler. He had that brief stint of top lane at the start of spring, but interesting here that COG is willing to blind the Senna, and it would open for Tactical to be able to do the exact same thing, but they're just kind of saying like, hey, actually this was a niche counter we prepared. We don't think TSM is going to be ready with the Seraphine Karma to counter our Senna, and a very early Nidalee lock, what looks to be an answer to Viego. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. I mean, this is actually for both these junglers, this is a pick they reached to a lot in their careers, especially coming up in their solo queue days. Both Contract and Speaker very well versed, and Contract's feeling like this is the kind of matchup where he can maybe bully Viego in the early game and get ahead. Because if you don't get ahead as Nidalee, it's a real bad time.
But I'm just looking, and I'm looking at Games of Legends for Summer Split, which
how many Nidalees we got?
This is the Nidalee.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, so it's not exactly the consensus pick into Viego, but it's 2 days in a row here where COG, as a response to the opponent first pick, pulls out a very uncommon champion. So I want to see how this one works out, because yesterday the Seraphine worked great.
Certainly did. As we're counting down here for TSM, Time Control already locked in for Mia. It is going to be Tactical's Jinx at the ready, so plenty of good action in the 2v2. And of course, mid to late game especially can really open up team fights as this great defensive core. CLG though, what do you want to finish off here? Are you going to pop something alongside the center, or do you have another pick in mind?
I think right here they're likely just going to match up with the Senna, but the thing that I'm going to be looking more to in this draft is how they get set up for Nidalee. And they're just going to do Senna Seraphine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's back.
So I actually don't hate it. I think yesterday they played it into Senna Tahm Kench, and this is more saying that, one, they think Seraphine is somewhat generically powerful, but 2, they just really like double range into Tahm Kench as a support, which I do tend to agree with. I think it's actually quite strong, as you see, especially with the durability changes making enchanters better. So they got a lot of very healy boys. They have 3 champions right now with heals, so the rest of their team comp is going to have to round out with a lot of damage.
Alrighty, LeBlanc, the ban for CLG here in phase 2, protecting whatever Palfox might want here, but obviously generically good champion. Obviously Maple has quite the history on the pick as well. Yone, get him out of there, is the call for TSM. No more Yone for Dokla.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, when you're TSM, I don't think you will have scrimmed against this at all. Just because both Nidalee and Seraphine at the moment are pretty much absent from the global League of Legends meta. So I think TSM will, they're just throwing bans at what they think might pair well with this, theoretically. And I think TSM themselves are going to go with a fairly generic comp and just hope to be able to win in team fights.
I think the other thing of note, and this was true yesterday as well, but one of the things that people were interested about with Dokla and Luger is that these are players that, when they're trying to carry, they need resources, right?
Yes.
And you can't really afford to have your resources be pulled from opposite sides of the map. So Luger seems to be happy to play more supportive style picks, whether it's Senna or Seraphine in this game. And with the way this draft is getting set up, we're counterpicking for top lane once again for Dokla and CLG. I mean, you don't ban 4 mid laners and not take a mid laner, I feel like. So I imagine Palfox is going to blind here, and then Dokka's going to get whatever he wants versus what TSM shows.
Yeah, there is an opportunity to pick an AD champion both mid and top, since they're going to be having enough magic damage from what is likely a farming Seraphine in the bot lane and a Nidalee. The Twisted Fate is still set up for Nidalee, but right now they are very magic damage heavy. So it does make counter picking for Dokla a lot more difficult, since he can't pick purely for a matchup. He must take a strong, high damage AD champion.
Yep, certainly imagine that will be the case as TSM rounding out these last few picks. Maple, of course, seen TF plenty of times in his career. Looks like Galio mid going to be the answer for him.
Yeah, trying to get that early pressure. I mean, if any of you watched MSI, which I feel like if you're a League of Legends fan watching Game 4 of the LCS, it's a high chance you saw some MSI games. There were some very good Galios there. And Galio's general ability to push and move can really take over games. Probably throwing the Gwen in here as well for the counter. But basically, it's just telling me TSM isn't just happy scaling for late game. Maple wants to try and accelerate it. Personally, I don't think it's that good into TF mid, because TF can actually get the push early, but we'll see.
That's a throwback there for Poom.
Yeah.
The Yorick. I don't think that's the pick here, though. GP might make sense, seen that a decent amount of times into Gwen, but Doku is the kind of player that wants to be very flashy, very aggressive, and as you mentioned, does need an AD champion here, so it is going to be Jace.
Jace is a fairly common Dokla champion. It was one of his big picks in Academy last year when he was on Team Liquid, so it will make CLG very poke heavy, but they have a ton of sustain, so we'll have very different goals in these team comps, because if you look at the TSM side, they are massively outranged.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to find ways to create fights, because they actually don't have what I would consider hard CC. There's like the Viego W if he flashes, or this really slow Tahm Kench engage. So CLG might be able to play at arm's reach. They definitely have the range advantage.
And two very old rivals will take the stage once more. Of course, the teams are quite a bit different from year one, but it's always a treat to see TSM and CLG play as TSM bundled together. Gonna zoom up towards this top half of the river.
And both teams really hoping to start off the summer split with a better trajectory than what happened in spring. TSM, as we've already discussed, was 9th place. Same record as the 10th place Immortals, only one game worse than the 8th place CLG, and they did make significant changes. They went into 2022 talking about having somewhat of a development roster, even though in their announcement they said, to be clear, this is not a development roster. Then they kind of talked around it and it was actually a development roster, so they no longer have those development roster players, which was Shenny and Kaido on the LCS team. Instead, they brought in Maple, a decade-long LCS or League of Legends star, winning many titles in the LMS. They've also brought in Mia, who spent actually a long time in the pro game. He played in the LCK, he's also played on LATAM, was kind of found through Champion Q. So 2 roster changes for TSM, definitely opting for more experience. They took what was essentially no experience to probably about 14 years of combined pro experience in those 2 roles. So they're really hoping for more stable games. And then you look at CLG bringing in Dokla and now having 2 games in a row where they're running double Enchanter bottom lane. To me, like draft-wise, they are the most exciting team in the LCS so far with the compositions they decided to play.
Yeah, definitely different looks for both these teams, as Huni off to the races early on at level 1. Definitely curious to see how Dokla's kind of pick works out. He is a player that loves to play for lane, but Gwen is a pretty tough champion, especially in the early levels.
Absolutely. So I don't think Dokla's going to get too much done early. I think for the most part, they just want to hang on.
It's a big
watch out here.
Luger in trouble. Senna pretty squishy. Poom, of course, also on the Seraphine this go around. Pretty squishy himself. But again, these are the kind of champions, chat, where if you don't get them dead, they just keep healing.
True, but they can't really heal that much yet.
At level 1, yeah.
The Senna can heal. Seraphine might take W at level 2 for a little baby heal.
Nice. Look, good trade there from Dokla. Going to get the wave most of the way in as well. Gets the ward down, not going to take the recall just yet. Wants to stay in lane and keep things going.
Just to talk a little bit more about the compositions, I do want to see how Contrax's Nidalee plays a little bit more. So in one sense, it's nice because it's, oh, gotta watch this.
Big damage. Luger's still going in. Needs one more auto after that, but Luger's low. Mia, though, going in for it. Luger needs to be protected. First blood over to the Tahm Kench, but Poom gets revenge.
So what actually ends up happening is the, quote, carry for CLG gets the kill, whereas the support for TSM gets the kill. So I think that actually neutralizes that first blood bonus and is probably in favor of CLG. I think Seraphine will use that gold a little bit better than Tahm Kench, but a very spicy bot lane start.
Certainly so, as Powerfox getting some damage down onto Maple. Level 4 trying to move to help out Contrax. Dokla as well has the prio, going to go in onto Huni, and Contrax just fancies a go at the gank in top lane as Speaker's right behind him. Contrax lands the spear, maybe going to go in. They want this crab, but Maple's already here. Powerfox, though, in for the 2v2, but Mia's the first move from the bottom side. Powerfox is going to go in, but Maple with a beautiful taunt. Finds 2, he's low, but he can't go in just yet. Pala low as well, but Mia, once again, going on through Viego, finds the stun. It's Speaker going to get the possession, takes down Pala. Mia falls on the other side, and Luger at level 2 has roamed up from the bottom side of the ramp. But can they do something? Huni now getting chased down. Contrax getting queued. That should be a kill. Easy as he dikes, and Dokla's going to pick it up. A mess here in the top lane.
A big time river fight from CLG. Actually almost won a 4v3 Because if we go back to that, Tahm Kench for TSM was there before Senna was there for CLG. And they traded so much damage back over to Maple that it could have gone actually a lot worse for TSM. If Luger doesn't even go and just goes to dominate the bottom lane, then they lose all over the map. But getting the 2 kills onto Jace with this 5 range huge poke comp is massive.
Yeah, Joker going to be happy with how that went. Now has a Dirk and a Tier who's going to start charging up. Still sticking together are CLG. Fought for the first crab, fancy a scuffle for the second. Level 2 Tahm, level 3 Speaker. These are not the champions you want to be fighting for. CLG relentless in their invades as Contract's going to take as much of the baby raptors as he can. It's Speaker with the smite that takes the big one as CLG fall back.
Yeah, a cheeky soul on the way out for Luger as well. Being able to watch the jungle camps fall. The ones that Contract was able to steal away. So one other thing that I was going to touch on before all the action popped out was watching what Contracts does in this game, because when Nidalee is really in the meta, it's because a lot of big setup champions are there. That's why Renekton Nidalee is so big, because you just use the Renekton W for the Nidalee Spear. That doesn't exist in this team comp outside of Gold Card. But we're going to have to cut to live, I believe, as Maple has moved top.
Yep, very nice move there. Doku, the target, does have the flash. He has to use it. No, actually, just the Thundering blows enough, and he goes back for a bit.
Yeah, it's a health trade. They don't get the kill. Maple found the window to move right there. We'll see if it's able to be punished by Huni, but really nice phase rush kicking in there, allowing him to get out. And Maple's trying to stick around and apply more pressure.
Yeah, both mids moving a lot, actually, trying to get to the action. There's been quite a lot of it here. 5 kills in almost 5 minutes as we press just past 6.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Some action. COG versus TSM.
We're going. Contract's up. He's out. Sees Maple, but Doku going back in onto Huni, just fancying himself a scrap. Wow. 1v1 trying to take down this Gwen. Does have the level lead, and Huni's going to have to be a touch careful here.
The items are just so big for him, having the serrated Dirk and the Tier this early.
Incoming dive.
Well, he has W.
Yeah, but it's not going to matter. It's melee range Jace. Contracts takes the tower. A little too much so out of Dokla. Punished for his hubris as Huni takes him down.
That is the worst for Dokla. And that, honestly, is something that these players still need to adjust to, because a month and a half ago, that definitely kills. There's a little bit more durability on every champion in the game, and the turrets also hit a lot bit harder. So Dokla dies faster under turret, Huni doesn't take quite enough damage, and it's actually disaster, because the total gold swing there is not only the 450 that goes over to Huni, it's the denial of the kill and Huni's ability to get the wave. So all told, I feel like that's about a 1,000 gold swing. So the game is actually still 1,000 gold in the favor of CLG. If that goes the other way, they'd be about 2k up 7 minutes in and then complete control. So that failed dive keeps TSM in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, you didn't even have to press W that time. Just vibes there as the dive goes slightly awry, and the durability patch keeps Huni safe. As Speaker and Mia once again joining up here as Contracts on the blue. Maybe going to take it here. Looks like Palafox isn't going to make it in time. Palafox is level 6 though, as Contracts does indeed take the buff, but TSM are moving into this bottom side of the jungle, maybe looking to start this dragon.
Yeah, and Speaker doing a really good job keeping pace ahead of Contracts. Nidalee not able to have as much farm as Viego. Very surprising. He spent a good bit of time hovering and skirmishing rather than just power farming, and as we mentioned, not great setup. So I think this is going to be a difficult game for Nidalee, although maybe his job is just going to be, hey, maybe I'll land some spears once we start grouping, since TSM's engage isn't that big.
Oh, the cleanse!
Oh,
did not line up properly for Tactical, and that is going to be a 2v1 kill as Poom emotes to add insult to injury, and Luger grabs the kill.
I gotta watch that again. Tactical cleanse late? Early?
Early, I think.
Seraphine
is a tricky one.
And they're moving in for the Rift Herald right now. But again, Mia is here, so his movement on Tahm Kench has actually been pretty important.
Nice taunt here, but Doku actually isolated as a result. Has to flash away. Stun lands in onto Maple. Huni, though, fancying a go. 4v3 right now with Doku having no health means Rift Herald is going to go TSM's way.
Very narrow escape. Twice. Durability update keeps alive. I'm only going to mention that for the first week. It's going to just be what League of Legends is like after this. Interesting, though, TSM does move up for the Rift Herald, but it does really sacrifice a lot of gold over to the bottom lane. Now 3 plates down for this Senna Seraphine Enchanter lane.
Oh, look, Mia can't even walk through the choke there. Doesn't really fancy it. Tactical trying to lock him off with the chompers, but Luger and Poom being aggressive. And I love how active Luger is on the center. I know that you talked about this yesterday as well, but like souls are all you want really as center.
Yeah, and I'll be keeping track of his souls kind of throughout the game. He's at 37 through 9 minutes 30 seconds. Of course, every 20, you'll be upgrading your range just a little bit. Let's watch this one more time. So, I mean, Tahm Kench is in River dancing with Nidalee, so it's just flash. And, like, he does cleanse, but there's just too many people there.
Yeah.
Because even if, that's the one thing about cleanse, even if you don't have a perfect cleanse, it still reduces the incoming CC for a little bit afterwards greatly. So you saw he wasn't actually rooted for that long there, but there's just nowhere to go. So overall, just poor place for him to be, regardless of the skill shots and the spell usage.
Yeah, nicely done there on the CLG side. Luger finding the opportunity, re-ganking his own lane, managing to get a kill there, hand to Poom over a little bit more gold with the assist as Contracts vibing here in mid lane, but nothing going. Palafox has been pretty active, but hasn't used his ulti yet, most notably on the Twisted Fate. So wants to get out of the lane and try and influence the sides, but hasn't really been able to just yet.
Yeah, it would be really nice to see Contracts push out with Palafox here, and then as we have a fight, that's trouble.
That is very troublesome. There's the ulti, actually. Poom commits it all. Speaker here as well. Luger, though, firing away, and that damage is just massive.
Yeah, so what I actually want to see happening is if we pull up this minimap, is ideally Twisted Fate can push a little bit, and then they can get control wards here, because that allows Twisted Fate every time he pushes to move, and it stops these guys from being able to push up safely, especially before Tahm Kench is level 6 and before that cleanses back up. But those things are going to be changing really quickly, and it's going to make it harder and harder for TF to be involved.
Yeah. So Maple doing a good job kind of anchoring Palafox here to the mid lane. Again, both these mid laners really want to push and roam. But CLG are at least going to go ahead and start off this dragon. It's actually very late for this first dragon, but CLG will be happy to take it regardless.
Right now, I think CLG is happy about a lot of things.
Yeah.
They would be ecstatic if Dokla didn't give over the shutdown to Huni, because we'll have to see if Gwen is able to be a menace with the W and team fight. Since there's 5 range people, it's going to be basically impossible to hit during that. Palafox just...
Yeah, I think tried to ulti there.
I think he got interrupted, and now he's dead.
He's dead. There's the center shield, but it's not going to be enough. Spica will claim the kill.
Spica with the big plays for TSM. Kraken Slayer Viego as well. He knows he has to do a lot of big damage there, and it did look like, I mean, that was going to be an attempted gank and probably a kill from Palafox onto Huni. Huni was pretty low in that top lane. And more action.
Luger at low, heals. Mia in there, but again, Tahm Kench not that threatening. Jinx ulti is, but those shields keeping them nice and topped off. Also, health wasn't that low, so the Herald instead mid lane is going to give Spica that first tower gold, although local gold does go to Maple as a result of the play.
Huge gold swings when TSM is getting these kills. It felt to me like CLG was winning so much of this, but the 2 plays with Dokla dying in the top lane and their Palafox dying in mid translated massive gold swings. Mid turret going down to Maple actually gives TSM the temporary lead.
And the thing you just said before was Spica making the big plays just like this, that is music to League of Legends fans' ears, especially TSM fans.
On Palafox just...
Yeah, he's trying to go. Nope.
I don't like it. I don't like that one. He saw Spica on the control ward, still popped his R, and really did, like, it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He gold carded him. Nah, that's a tough one for Palafox.
Yeah, not a window I believe you get as Twisted Fate. Your stun isn't that long. It's not Morgana binding. Everyone relax. It's CLG pressuring down to the bottom side here. Dokla though in a spot of bother. Spica once again trying to make a play. Toonie kicking it up. Flash stun. Job's done. Spica gets another.
Spica with a lot of big plays early on here. The question will be, will it be enough? How will he deal with the Enchanter Ball that is inevitably coming for CLG? But as of now, absolutely keeping them in the game with these ganks and kills.
Yep, been really nice to watch him work alongside his solo laners. I think he and Maple, even this early, have looked really exciting together. That's a duo we'll be keeping our eyes on throughout the split. But for now, in this game, it's Spica with 3 kills on that Kraken Slayer. He is the reason TSM are currently up a little bit in the total FTX gold advantage. Not much, but it's enough.
Absolutely. The one Mountain Drake, I think, will make this game pretty square. I also really want to track what Maple does throughout this game, because just Predator Galio with Everfrost. Like, how creative can he be finding angles to engage onto CLG? Because, like, just overall with team compositions, a lot of times people will say, like, oh, you need engage is one thing, or you just need to outrange. And there's a world here where the CLG comp just wins because they hard outrange TSM. And even though CLG doesn't have engage, if neither team has strong engage, the team with longer range will win. And that could be the story here, unless Maple can find creative angles to engage, in which case CLG might have like such squishy champions that they just get obliterated. So that's what I'm going to be tracking as we move more into the teamfight phase.
Yep. Good little siege here though from CLG. Again, Seraphine Senna, very annoying when you're pinned under your turret. Luger, by the way, 65 souls in 15 minutes. As TSM look to make some counterplay here on the top half of the map, but CLG just back away slowly.
And a different mythic purchase for the Seraphine today. We have Poom going Liandry's, where there was a Moonstorm purchase yesterday. So definitely trying to get a little bit more damage since they have such an abundance of healing between Senna, Nidalee, and Seraphine.
Speaker on this Herald is going to draw the team up. Maple going to check the brush, going to get it down there. Contract's going in. Not sure what the angle is here. This is a 4v2. Luger going to have to fight away, but Speaker's low gets devoured by TK. And now CLG going to try and go in. The double on-goal. Boom finds two. And Palafox goes in for it. Luger finds a kill with his ulti. And now Maple's a touch too late as Palafox is going to get stunned up, but it's not going to matter. 2 kills for Luger and maybe more on the way for CLG as Palafox is low. But the shields, the heals, they keep on coming. Tactical, ridden under the tower. Luger's diving them. Whoop. As the spear goes just a touch wide and Tactical lives for now.
Yeah, for now. He has no... Oh, just go take the side door. Unfortunately, there's the Jace there.
Hello! Happy Vito Clip picks it up. And Tactical does indeed go down.
Easiest kill of Dokla's season. Not life. I'm sure there's been easier ones. A teleport coming in too. Maybe desperation here by Maple. Double TP though. They're low.
Huni in, going for the kill. Gwen, not bad, but the stun's good right in the zone. Luger though still firing away. They've got so many heals. Luger's still going. The root is there. The damage is enough to take down Contracts. And Speaker here once again possesses Nidalee, dives on in. Dokla going to be forced to flash, and TSM do get them off the dragon.
I don't know if we're done. I really want to see the replay, but there's still action because TSM is starting the dragon, and it looks like CLG is just going to give it and go to live another day. That whole sequence, aside from the very end, is kind of TSM's disaster and nightmare, where they are there, but they don't have a good engage. So we're going to see here in Roccat Flip the Switch replay how they just can't get to CLG, and then Seraphine and Senna and Nidalee just do so much. Like, it looks like there's just 2 people there, but as soon as Poom is there, the double W speeds them up, heals them. TSM has to kind of turn tail, and the funniest thing about this whole sequence is how this, like, 20% Palafox Twisted Fate acts like he's invincible. Because he just feels like he has so much help, which he does. He has 3 supports with him, and they're able to run him down.
Bottom side gang. Palafox didn't even ulti. And Mia's going to dodge, but he can't dodge forever. Wildcards pick him off as Mia goes down.
Oh, man. Kill the Palafox. Going to be very good for the late game TF scaling, because if they get enough power on TF and the Jace, it's like the 1 gold card is just going to be a kill when you start layering in the Nidalee Spears, the Jace, Shock Blasts, and even just Senna's ever-increasing range through Souls. COG's looking pretty happy right now, and the nice thing for Senna is, like, the thing about the, quote, fasting Senna or the support Senna is just because you're not farming doesn't mean you don't love gold. You actually multiply off gold really well when you have a lot of souls, so getting kills is just so sweet when you're on this fairly low-income support Senna, because you're still great with gold, and your items matter a lot.
Yeah, don't hit the minions, hit the champions, and get the souls. That's the Senna 101, as Luger here is even going to pull the wave in mid and drop it off for himself.
Yeah, I mean, if your contracts, just go gobble that thing up. But he wants to make sure he's controlling vision first, as the wave is just sitting there, and there's no immediate thing that COG has to do on the map, so I don't mind that freeze at all.
And a little play on the top side there. Speaker dropped the Herald. They did get a tower down. So all told, CLG up 2,600 gold. Caught 3k or so. So a decent lead. but still going as CLG. We're gonna have to continue to find ways to open up this game. I definitely have eyes on the first Hextech Drake of the game, which will be Al Sol.
Yep.
Tuni demonstrates this by zipping along the Hex gates.
I also do want to point out, as it looks like TSM will likely take a turret. Nope, we're going to have a fight.
Everfrost poured on in. Beautiful encore. Good devour, but Mia's going to be left for dead, and Tactical can make it out alive. The Chompers, I believe, save his life from Contracts coming on over.
So anytime TSM is showing like 3 people on one side of the map, the like death ball of enchanters will run at someone else with TF stun, and it's been very effective. That's how they're actually creating action, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Palafox again, we liked his productivity early, but didn't see as many ultis. This time now, map's much more open. Able to make that a lot easier. This mid out is pretty valuable to get. Tactical, you just cannot stand there. Damage is big. Ulti from the center is not going to connect the damage portion. And now Zokla, caught splitting in the top side, is going to get picked off by Speaker. And now Huni, my goodness, he's going for it. Maple charging on in. Poom is separated. This is a very easy way to pick off the Seraphine, but Luke is still dancing around as well. Poom's going to fall. It is going to be Speaker that will grab that kill. A shutdown to boot there.
Baron's alive, too. TSM could completely try and turn this. CLG seeming like they had the entire game in hand, but Dokla gets picked and they get split in mid lane, and they could be losing control of the game right here.
Contracts up alive. Flash almost available. Sweeper activated. Contract's gonna check, puts a ward in there, knows what's going on, hits the Q. Half out for the Baron. Luger chunking down Huni, but they're going for the kill instead. Luger, what a flash! Gets his way out of there, but they have to kite this fight so perfectly. Teleport in, Mia gets stunned. Everfrost out, but doesn't work for Maple. Flash forced by Contract as the spear just misses, and TSM disengaged.
Oh no. This game is so swingy, so they have to recall now, and everyone of CLG is just back at full health because they have 3 enchanters on their team, and they're just going to take the Baron themselves.
So again, Baron damage might not be the high, but Baron sustained very nice here. TP in the back.
Oh boy.
For TSM, CLG think better of this play. Oh goodness, it's so low. They're going to go for it there. Contract's not able to get in there. The Baron goes over to CLG as Dokla flashes out. Contract's left for dead. Will be killed by Huni. And CLG are going to have to try and escape. Poom's low. Luger going to try and heal him up. And they get 1 kill. Poom's still alive. The Ignite burning down. But Poom is going to live.
What a ridiculous sequence of events. CLG only loses 1 person in all of that. There's 5 TSM players on Baron. CLG contests 3. Poom narrowly escapes multiple times throughout that sequence. And they come away with the Baron. They will lose this Drake, so we could be in for a long one because the Dragon stacking is going to be very, very slow. But you know what? They're not necessarily giving this up. Palafox is here.
There's no jungler anywhere. Palafox is like, hello.
Hello, Huni.
Gwen's immune. She'll be less immune for a while. Jungler, where are you? Oh, goodness. It's loose, and Tactical picks it up.
But we'll have to check back on this, how important that steal ends up being from Tactical if TSM is able to stay in this game.
Because that's the thing, right? CLG up, 3,500 gold. CLG with the Baron should be able to make good work of the Red Bull Baron here as they're going to take the easy tower in mid. But there's more for them to grab here. Zokla's going to be in a side lane. The 4-stack's going to be there for CLG. A minute 30 to keep on sieging. This siege comp, by the way, absolutely filthy.
Actually very good soul count from Luger as well. He's at 108, 23 minutes in. So he's been able to really maximize his access to souls this game from farming, from being near jungle camps that are farmed, but also just by having a good choice of what waves are there. And we're very lucky, Patriot. This game is so high action. It doesn't look like it should be, but it definitely is.
All right, Palafox gets stunned, gonna have to walk away, flashes out to safety, but the Everfrost from Maple's gonna get it done. Now the Watch is gonna try and protect him. Over the top, Daunic Shadow's not enough. It's Huni that gets the kill. Maple low, but not dead. As Tactical's chasing onto Poom. Once again, they're separated. The Enchanters of CLG need to stay together, and they cannot.
Well, Dokla just wasn't there. He's off there splitting. CLG nearly won a 4v5. I mean, if they win that, the game is over. So it was a little bit of a dare with saying, yeah, we're Seraphine, Senna, Nidalee. Like, come at us, bro. We're going to just heal it up. They nearly return enough damage, but I think the fact that Dokla wasn't there, and they have so much range and so much poke, if they would have just grouped as 5, I don't think there's any world that TSM could win that fight. So overall, I do think it's a mistake by CLG to be split up there, and TSM capitalized.
Thank you, Treethan. By the way, that tweet is wonderful.
What did it say? I missed it.
Speaker is just imagining every CLG player is Moxie. To your point, though, my question is, CLG have shown that, as far as this game is going, their intention is to play Dokla in the side lane.
Yes, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes and no. So I think, and this is just my observation, looking at COD's compositions over the last 2 days, they have picked compositions that want to win through grouping. Like, how are you actually going to beat yesterday a team with like Seraphine, Karma in a 5v5? Well, like, okay, how are you going to beat Seraphine, Senna in a 5v5? Well, it would be by splitting normally. So then what they've done is they've given Dokla a good split push champion. And here they've given Palafox a good champion at punishing split push. So it's like almost trapping TSM into 2 bad choices. So TSM, okay, you can try to split, but TF Jace will kill you. Oh, you can try and group? Well, then you're going to lose to Seraphine.
Right.
So it's kind of taking advantage of very powerful champion in Seraphine. When you can do it in the right way, it can be really exploitative. And I don't think COD's executed this well, but I think the theory is quite sound.
Agree. And I think it's cool to see that CLG not only willing to play the champion, but can flex it in both spots in bottom lane. Obviously, when you have a player like Luger, probably give him the marksman, even if it's the support champion.
Very good point.
Dokla, though, in trouble once again. This is a part of the split they haven't necessarily gotten away with. Dokla is going to be in trouble. Damage is big. Daunting Shadow will keep him alive long enough, and a double TP actually from CLG. They're going to keep him alive.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? Because you think normally the team with Twisted Fate Jace would want the map split, but it definitely looks to me like CLG is disadvantaged when the map is split. That's how TSM is finding their opportunities. Spica has enough damage to fatally kill Jace when he's alone. If you're not grouped up around Seraphine Senna, you're not taking as advantage of the healing as you can. So I'd actually kind of like to see Dokla more catching and grouping, and then waiting for the next Hextech Drake to come up, waiting for the next Baron to spawn, and actually, I think they're going to win in a 5v5, but weirdly enough, they are getting picked off in these split situations.
Well, about a minute to the 2 objectives you mentioned, so teams are going to reset and regroup. Luger in trouble, and he knows it. And there's Spica going in for the play, barely misses the stun with the slow. Might be good enough. Luger gets tagged by the Jinx ult, but the healing's coming on in, and that's it. You can't kill him now.
Wow, look at that. He's just back to 80% health. Really scary, though. I mean, sticking around likely, just wanting to get a little bit of extra gold before he can get Rapid Fire Cannon, which is going to make him very oppressive, by the way. 125 souls. So with Rapid Fire Cannon complete, I'm going to try and find it here. He's got 720 range.
Right now.
Right now.
That's a lot.
The Rapid Fire's not complete yet.
Okay.
So it'll be more when he does complete
more
it.
Than 720,
it'll
you
be
say?
150 more.
Okay.
So it'll be an 870 auto attack slow and large amount of damage when he gets it. And that's why they're going to be happy outranging and grouping, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's the question, right? And that has been the question, right? Can you get through the range, the long, oppressive range of CLG? Like Tactical, 2 items at working on number 3. He'll do the damage if he can hit the enemy without exploding on the front lines. As Dokla's going to solo up that Hextech Dragon.
Well, I also think that's why Tactical has gone like Gale Force RFC. By no means would this be the build you would do on Jinx if you're up against Orange, Sejuani, Trundle, where you need to hit a lot. But it's literally like, how can I get as much fake range as possible? And that's with the Gale Force mobility and the RFC extra range, because Tactical just is unable to hit most people on CLG.
This is the adventure we've been on here. The FTX Gold graph has been up and down, but mostly up for CLG right now. But 4,000 gold in almost 30 minutes. Not a massive lead for CLG to lean on, but it does feel like they're pretty comfy with the way things have gone. Yes, they've been caught a few times, but I think in a 4v4, or as you mentioned, 5v5, CLG are feeling pretty good about their chances.
Yeah, 130 souls now for Luger. This is a game where we could see some pretty ridiculous soul numbers.
I'm excited.
Because it's like 4,000 gold. There's 2 Drakes to 2. We're still 4 minutes away from the next. So the earliest soul we could see would be about 36.5 minutes. I'm looking forward to some redonkulous ranges.
Yeah, Luger does have that RFC now, by the way, so expect people to get chunked from ridiculous distances.
Yeah, it's like who's Palafox going to get with the gold card? And
Yep.
does he have to extend to a point where they're worried about flanks? It doesn't look like it, so they're just really bullying mid lane. And I don't see how TSM ever is the first one to access this wave. So what's going to kind of happen is they're going to be able to push up that mid lane and just move into the river here where they have full vision control. So there's nothing that they can see. And they're just going to keep popping their heads out over and over again until they can find a gold card or a Senna W and hopefully just like one-hit someone on TSM. Very hard map to play for TSM here.
Yep, nice setup as a result. Here for CLG. Thank you, Observe,
Yeah,
for
look at
covering
this.
that vision because they have to burn the Jinx ult just to see.
So they're trying to buy a little bit of time in the bottom lane here. It's like, well, if we push this up far enough, we'll force them into a decision. So they saw them start the Baron. Now they're teleporting in, and TSM's only hope is to trap them in this pit.
Yep, that's Huni teleporting back around. Maple doesn't quite have the flank just yet. He's a little off to the side. Baron is very low. They're going to get it. And now CLG, can they kite effectively? They are running away. TSM, I don't think you can run through this choke. CLG just yeet the Baron off the rift.
Love it. They don't actually kill Baron that fast. That's like one flaw of this composition. They're very healthy when they do it, but there's a huge fear of being collapsed upon, so they had to make sure the waves are pushed. But Dokla, you can't get caught like that.
You know, 1v2, but it actually does a lot of damage to Speaker. Now the teams get reinforced. Luga shuts that down. Maple ults in place after Speaker dies, and that's going to be a second little present for CLG.
Okay, I want to re-record that call. Dokla, he's caught him. They turned it around. He was close enough to the rest of his team.
Genius.
They get 2 kills for it because TSM was trying to capitalize on the play, and now they can really set up that siege with healers and poke.
And now we go back again with the Baron to try and siege, as you mentioned, down the rest of these towers. Inhibitor is available in top side mid as well, missing 2 towers. So bottom lane is the obvious point to pick up your gold because that is the easiest tower off the map to take. But CLG, looking at 1, would love 2 inhibs. You know, unless the game ends, they'll be happy with that too.
Yeah, I want to see where they group. So what they're doing now is they definitely need to. You can't just 5-man group out of nothing. So they want to prep this wave and this wave at the same time, and they're holding 2 people in here so that they can freely move between the jungle and hopefully bounce both of them to get. But I do want to see at least 4 people grouped, probably 5, but that's not what they're going for. Dokla is going to be a soloist, and it's going to be the other 4-man grouping here, which gives TSM a small window to engage.
TP coming on in from TSM. It's Maple charging on in. Pretty speedy. Palafox snips it out though. Pops the stun. CLG again with a nice disengage, and that buys space for Dokla to take the easy turret. And now the map is getting ever smaller for TSM.
Yeah, that was nicely done. You could see the engage tried to come off the side. They just moved down the river, and Dokla had it started. So now they can 5-man group here. There's no way that people can get behind them. I've drawn a lot of lines, but it makes sense because TSM is trapped in their base, and they have no clear way of engaging on CLG.
And now Pala is the one in the 1-4, but he's got the ulti ready to go as well. The poke is absolutely obscene, by the way. And CLG just bully down that turret here in bottom side. The inhibitor is going to be left for dead, and now they rotate over to their mid laner.
Yeah, really, really nicely done here, making sure no one on TSM can get behind them, because if CLG has eye contact, they do not lose.
Yep, again, mid, now dead. 5-4 group, excuse me. Dokla is going to rejoin the team, though. Maple trying to find the flank angle. Dawn does find 2. Palafox going to get caught up there, but over the top goes the Dawning Shadow, and it's just absurd. It's ridiculous, the healing. Maybe enough though, as CLG still cutting out.
Oh no.
And it's heartbreak for TSM as the CLG Fortress will not be broken. And CLG are gonna wipe TSM and take their 2nd victory on the weekend.
Pastry time, what year is it? CLG with the 2-0 start, taking down TSM yet again, and doing it with style.
Absolutely, CLG gonna dive the fountain. Luga's range is ridiculous. They'll get 1 more kill for the Rotas. Tactical dies. And CLG take their 2nd Nexus of the split.
154 souls for the Senna, but also 2 victories for Big Dokes. Coming back to the LCS stage, a recent promotion by CLG, and a clear style difference for CLG coming into this summer split. 2 different Seraphine players, both effective, both unique as well to the LCS. They also threw out the Nidalee here. They picked